I'm a stepmother to a 16-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl. My husband Peter and I have been married for 6 years, and I've been a part of their lives since then. I also have two bio kids of my own, a daughter from my first marriage, she's 20, and a 5-year-old with Peter. My relationship with my stepdaughter has always been great, but my relationship with my stepson has been difficult from the start. He's always been antagonistic towards me, rude, and tried to undermine me in front of his father. I've tried to reach out to him multiple times, but it seems like no matter what I do, he doesn't want to give me a chance. I've always tried to treat both of my stepchildren as my own, but my stepson has made it clear that he doesn't see me that way. Recently, things came to a head when my stepson gave me an ultimatum. He was bringing over girls, which is fine with me as long as they keep the door open, but recently I discovered that he had sneaked his girlfriend in overnight and they spent the night together. I found out when I was randomly checking out home security footage and confronted him. He told me that he can bring over anyone he wanted because this was his dad's house and not mine, and that I need to start adhering to his rules and stop favoring my biological children, or he'll disown me and move out of our home and tell everyone I kicked him out and I'm abusive. I was taken aback by this, as I've always tried to treat both of my stepchildren equally. I asked him what he meant by rules, and he told me that I need to stop being chill with my biological children and start holding them to the same standards as his sister and him. By favoring my bio children, he was referring to my 20-year-old daughter who brought over her boyfriend during Christmas and spent 3 days together at our house. I tried to reason with him and explain that I don't show favoritism towards anyone, but he wouldn't listen. My 20-year-old daughter bringing over the boy she has been dating for 2 years is obviously very different than this 16-year-old sneaking in random teenage girls under my roof. But he refuses to understand that and says that the only reason I have a problem with this is because he's not my bio kid. I just don't want any trouble, and God forbid he gets some girl pregnant or in any other sort of trouble. I'm just trying to protect my family here and nothing else. I have tried to confront him many times, but he told me things like he's sick of feeling like a second-class citizen in our home and that he's tired of me always taking my biological children's side. I was hurt by his words, as I've always tried to create a loving and inclusive environment for all of us. I didn't know what to do, so I talked to my husband about it. My husband tried to talk to my stepson, but he wouldn't listen to him either. My husband suggested family therapy, but my stepson refused to go. He told us that the only way he'll be happy is if I start adhering to his rules and stop favoring my biological children. Things had been tense in our household ever since that conversation. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around my stepson, and he's become even more antagonistic towards me. He's always giving me dirty looks and making snide comments under his breath. It's been hard to keep the peace, but I've been trying my best. He even jokingly says that he'll report me for child abuse if I don't agree to his rules. This is when I finally snapped. I knew that he probably didn't mean it seriously, but that is a serious threat and could ruin my life. I finally reached out to his bio mom. Now, my son's relationship with his bio mom is complicated. He wanted to stay with her, but because of many legal and practical reasons, Peter was given custody. My stepson jumps at every chance to see his mom, but it doesn't happen very often. I knew that making her intervene is the only way that he would even consider not being a menace. So I reached out to her and told her about everything that has been going on. She was shocked because she didn't expect that her son could be so cruel to me. She was also really angry about the whole bringing over girls situation because as an adult, she obviously understands how unsafe that is. She assured me that she'll talk with my stepson. Well, they did talk, and I guess they fought because He had a visit scheduled with her this weekend, and apparently now he's not going. She said he was not welcome at her house until he apologized to me and corrected his behavior. He is now extremely angry at me and says that I'm evil for going behind his back and telling his mom. I really feel conflicted, but still strongly believe that what I did was necessary for everyone. AITA for telling my stepson's biomom about his problematic behavior. Update 1. Hey everyone, sorry for the late update. I wasn't expecting so many of you to be interested in my post. So many of you have been accusing my husband of not being more active in this situation. I just want to clarify that he has been trying his absolute best. I didn't focus on him in my original post because obviously the issue is my relationship with my stepson. Also, my husband travels a lot for work and is not even home for 2+ weeks a month. It's difficult, but his job pays well, and as I'm a stay-at-home mom, we can use the money. I'm sure you guys can understand that raising 4 kids is very expensive. Also, my oldest daughter doesn't live at home. She came home for the holidays and brought her boyfriend along. When she did live with us, she hardly ever brought her boyfriends home because that's a rule I have and expect all my children to follow. Also, trust me, my stepson is well aware that he is allowed to hang out with his friends and girlfriends in his room, and that my only problem is with him closing the door and girls spending the night. He refuses to compromise and stubbornly keeps saying that I'm only doing this because I'm not his biomom and that I'm playing favorites. His sister, my stepdaughter, is confused about the whole matter, and I've been trying to keep her away from the drama as much as possible because, in my opinion, she is way too young to be thinking about this stuff. Overall, she supports me because we've always been close and she calls me mom. Unlike my stepson, who refers to me by my first name, I'm fine with that and respect his decision. His mom has kind of always been pretty flaky when it comes to her responsibilities as a mom. She did tell him to apologize to me, but isn't interested in doing anything more. Meanwhile, my stepson hates me because he thinks I'm driving her away from him to take revenge. He has been giving me the cold shoulder and refuses to speak to me. The only one he talks to is my stepdaughter. Update 2. It's been 4 days since my last update, and yesterday I woke up and realized that my stepson wasn't in the house and a lot of his things are missing from his room. I immediately called his mom to ask if he's with her, and she said that he isn't and that she hasn't heard from him either. My husband and I were really worried and called every friend of his that we know of, and after almost 3 hours of being extremely worried, we found out that he is with a friend of a friend. My husband went over there to get him, but he said he's not coming back until I apologize to him and agree to his rules. My husband tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't listen. We're really confused and irritated as well. His biomom refuses to step in, but said that if he shows up at their door, she'll tell us immediately. Update 3. My stepson is still living with his friends and refuses to move back in with either of us or his biomom. We don't want to get the law enforcement involved, but I'm afraid there is very little we can do otherwise. It's been heartbreaking to see my stepson's behavior drive a wedge between our family. Even his biomom has been trying to be supportive. But he's been so difficult to deal with that she's starting to feel like she can't do anything right. She told me that she's at her wit's end and that she doesn't know what to do. I'm at a loss as well. I don't know how to fix this situation, and I don't know how to make my stepson see that I'm not favoring anyone. I've even tried to talk to him, but he won't listen. I've tried to give him space, but he's only become more distant. It's like he's made up his mind that I'm the enemy and nothing I do will change his mind. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, trying to figure out if there's anything I could have done differently. I know that being a step-parent can be a challenging role, and I've tried to be patient and understanding with my stepson, but I can't help but wonder if there was something I could have done to prevent things from getting to this point. At the same time, I also recognize that my stepson's behavior isn't entirely my fault. He's a teenager going through a lot of changes and emotions, and he may be lashing out at me because of things that have nothing to do with me. But even with that knowledge, it's hard not to take his behavior personally. It's also hard because I don't want to create a situation where my other children feel like they're being punished for something that's not their fault. All the other kids have been upset about how things have been going on at home, including my stepdaughter. I've tried to talk to them and make sure that they know that this is just a temporary hurdle, but it's still a difficult situation for them to be in. NTA, your stepson is a brat and he should not be indulged. I think your concerns are totally fine and you are right. You are his parent and responsible for his well-being. And we all know that if he gets in trouble, you'll have to be involved. I'd suggest letting him have his moment of rebellion. He'll soon realize that he can't crash with friends forever and come back to your house. But if you think you should get the authorities involved, that would be totally understandable. NTA, I think you, your husband, and your stepson's biomom are right to hold him accountable and not give in to his pointless demands. The kid is 16 and needs to act his age. He is extremely disrespectful to you, and that should not be tolerated. Personally, I think your husband needs to step in and take charge of the situation because it sounds like you're left to handle everything on your own, which isn't fair to you. Next story. My husband has 3 brothers and 1 older sister. Being the only girl from a rich family, she was very spoiled and always gets her way. Both 4 brothers are married, and us wives pretty much get along, except that our sister-in-law, Denise, is hard to deal with. It is a very close family, and we work together since it is a family business. Denise has always commented on the older bro's wife, Anne. Wait. A few months ago, Anne had a gastric bypass surgery, so she's been losing weight. Denise has been bitter about all the compliments and attention that Anne is getting. We had a ladies' night out and met Anne's old classmate who was absolutely stunned by how much Anne changed. She complimented her and asked what she did. She said that it was diet and exercise. Denise called her out that she was lying. She had gone under the knife and had had her stomach removed. Anne was extremely embarrassed and wanted to go home right away. Keep in mind that she traveled abroad to get it done since where I come from, it is a taboo topic. The classmate spread the word. Anne's teenage kid asked if she's had surgery since a classmate spread the rumor at school. Anne had a huge argument with Denise. Denise didn't want to apologize. She instead said that it wasn't her fault that Anne was pigging out on everything to the point she needed surgery. I've never had an argument with Denise before, but this time around I lost it and told her that her top-heavy body won't let me wear whatever I want, yet she is shaming Anne. She's been crying. My husband and parents-in-law want me to apologize. A little backstory. Denise hates her body shape. I usually respect her requests, and she's 15 years older. She's asked me not to wear a similar outfit if we're going to the same place because it made hers look bad. She let me know ahead what not to wear. I never cared, until we both went to my niece's wedding a week ago and couldn't wear a dress I picked with my older sister. I compromised since she refused to go and started to yell at my husband, who asked her to stop harassing me. My sister wondered why I wore something else. I explained and she was very upset and thought it was abusive and told sister-in-law off. Listening to her shaming Anne while I was still upset about the wedding made me very upset and found myself shaming her in return, which is wrong. My husband proposed that Denise apologize to Anne. Then I apologized to Denise, which seems fair, but Denise refused. So my husband changed sides, stating that she shouldn't ditch it if she can't take it. So should I apologize for being the a-hole or stand my ground? Sorry for any spelling or vocabulary mistakes. English isn't my first language, and thank you for reading this far. Honestly, I might have to go with NTA. Anne isn't TA neither. Sure, it's never right to body shame others and two wrongs don't make a right and everything, but Denise really needed to get a taste of her own medicine. Denise called her out that she was lying. She had to go under the knife and had her stomach removed. She did this out of pure malice and envy because Anne looks better than she did before, and Denise can't stand the thought of her getting complimented and getting this attention. It's all fun and games until you're the target of body shaming. NTA, while I think your sister-in-law shouldn't have lied about how she lost the weight, it wasn't Denise's place to embarrass her nor tell anyone. Also, who is she to police what you wear? NTA, don't apologize. I can't stand people who are fine insulting, belittling others, yet when they get a taste of their own medicine, then it's wrong and they're the victim. Denise is a bully. Next story. A while back, I, female 29, was out with my friends for our friend's 30th. It was a big night. People were at various levels of drunk. Backstory. My friends tend to be helpless turtles, and I end up looking after them. One of my friends, Adam, was very drunk. He had been annoying me all night, but I obviously made sure he was okay. Come the end of the night, we have 6 people to get home. 3 people, live near me. Adam lives on the other side of town, and the birthday girl lives down the street. I'm getting my 3 a.m. taxi during a shortage, so on 4 apps, stopping BG from getting involved in a stranger's domestic, and trying to get Adam to phone a taxi and stopping him from getting aggressive with the people BG is talking to. I managed to get my group a taxi and to get Adam and BG away from the strangers. Adam keeps talking about walking home. Finally, I get him to agree to walk BG to her flat at the bottom of the street and get a taxi from there. I get my group home safely and BG says she got home, so I go to sleep. I wake up to a message from Adam's wife. Where is he? I ask BG and she says he didn't wait at hers and walked home. Literally miles. Finally, he stumbles home after waking up in a garden 2 streets over. My view on this was yes, I should have waited with him and got him a taxi, but he's also a grown man. I organized a safe place for him to wait. He could have stayed on her sofa. I thought it was over, but when I was over at his wife made snarky comments about me not looking after him. We're going out to some Paddies, and obviously the heavier drinkers will be in a bad state. His wife texts me saying that I should remember he has 3 kids at home before I let him get himself in trouble. I feel this isn't my job, and told her so, and she called me an a-hole and a bad friend. She also pointed out if he was a girl, I'd make sure he got in a taxi. Update. Texted my friend and his wife was saying, sorry, my babysitting services are not available tonight. Make other arrangements. Told the rest of my friends I wasn't staying out all night. They could get in my taxi when I head home, but after that, they need to get themselves home. I know a lot of you think BG has a drinking issue. I agree. Since that first night, she has calmed a lot and got a taxi home tonight when I did. Before I left, I got Adam to share his location with his wife. NTA, it isn't your job. Tell his wife that she should AirTag him with his consent and that she can ping his location and pick him up at the end of the evening. You're done. NTA, not looking after him? Let him get himself in trouble? You're not Adam's mother. It's getting so that not only drunks expect everyone else to look out for them, but even their wives expect everyone else to look out for drunks. How about Adam learn to take responsibility for himself? Even if that means, God forbid, he tone down the drinking and not get plastered all the time? If Adam is walking home and falling asleep in a neighbor's garden, this is a serious problem. He could have been arrested for trespassing. I think it's more his wife's job to address Adam's problem, not yours. NTA. Wife is upset with Adam, but it's easier for her to direct that at you than confront him. Personally, if I always became the helper person at the end of the night because my adult friends became helpless turtles around alcohol, I tell them all I needed a break from the assumed responsibility and start leaving such events before the end. I'd also forward the text to Adam and tell him right now that he's responsible for himself on some patties and that perhaps he should remember his own 3 kids. Wife is an a-hole here, but your friends making your presence their entire coping strategy on big nights out are actually the bigger AHs. They're taking advantage of you. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.